Clearly I can't sing, but I love that song. Anyway, welcome to my channel. I just wanted to say my name is Bridget. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist associate. And today we got a really good topic. So we're going to be talking about things you should never say in your marriage. Things you should never say in your marriage, okay? And you might want to stick around to the end because some of these things on this list might surprise you. So are you ready? First and foremost, I just want to mention why are words important? Why is it so important to watch what you say in your relationship? Well, number one, Gottman, John and Julie Gottman are psychologists, and that they have the Gottman's method. And one of the things they realized through their evidence-based research doing their little love lab is that couples that have high levels of content in their relationship are headed for divorce. And this is what happens when you argue. Okay, so we're going to be diving into like a couple of those as well. So pay attention because you may or may not be saying some of these things. I'm transparent and authentic with you guys. Early on in my marriage, I've been married 11 years, going on 12 years now. Early on in my marriage, I can tell you I have said a few of these in my marriage. This is long before I was a marriage and family therapist, and even long before we even thought about doing this, because my husband is a marriage and family therapist as well. I just was ignorant. I just was ignorant. Didn't know what I was saying. Didn't know how it was affecting. I just thought I was going to be honest, and real or whatever. And these words came out and they just came out all wrong. So here we go. Okay, so the first one is you always or you never, right? So this is an absolute statement, right? Whenever you make absolute statements, you're literally telling your partner that, you're always doing this and there is no room that you got it right or you got it wrong. It's actually unfairly criticism. You're unfairly criticizing your partner, and that makes them defensive. That makes them highly defensive. And when a person gets defensive, their limbic system and their amygdala gets activated, and that's when you have the emotional brain. And when the emotional brain is activated, there ain't no level of intimacy. I'm probably going to mention that quite a bit during this video. So just remember, when you put your partner on a defensive, there's very little chance of connection and emotional intimacy. Another thing that you should never say to your spouse is calm down, you are overreacting. Okay. The reason why this is not a good statement to say in general is because you are not validating or even acknowledging their experience of the situation. Now, should they calm down? Are they overreacting? That may or may not be the case. But saying that at that time is not necessarily going to make them want to calm down. It's not necessarily going to make them, stop doing what they're doing. Instead, you really want to, see like, I see you're very angry, or literally call it out. It's really highly effective to say, you're upset. You're really frustrated right now. Let's talk about what's causing the anger. That's a different way of really like approaching that situation. If your partner is like overreacting, or you sense that they're overreacting and you would like for them to calm down, that's a better way to approach it. Let's back up real quick. I forgot to give you guys a alternative for, instead of, if you are always saying like you always or never, you don't want to say that. Instead, you want to express what you're actually feeling. So that could be like, you know what, I feel overwhelmed with the laundry and I really would appreciate your help. So instead of saying you never help me with the laundry, right? Or you always leave me do all the household chores, say something like what you're experiencing instead of criticizing them, or like really saying that they never did it, because maybe they have done it before, maybe you just weren't there, or maybe you didn't see it. And then again, unfairly criticizing them for every situation, both in the past and the future, is just not a good approach. So instead, express what you're feeling, your thoughts and experiences. Next statement that some couples make is a statement about like, if you really love me, you would, whatever that is, you would spend more time with me. If you really love me, you would take me on dates. This is a bad statement to make, and it's because it's actually rooted in manipulation. I'm sorry. If that's you, that's what it is. Okay, it's a manipulation. It's basically trying to manipulate them by making them feel bad. Instead, you just want to tell them how you really feeling. Again, this vulnerable emotion. A lot of times we have these protective, I call it like the iceberg effect. Above the water is usually the protective response, and below the water is the more vulnerable emotion that you usually don't want to express because, again, it's vulnerable. So instead of saying like, you know, if you really loved me, again, that's this idea of manipulation. You want to say something like, I really miss spending time with you. You know, I just want to go on a date. Can we plan a date together? Like, that's vulnerable. That's really saying, like, let's spend some time together. I really miss going out with you, instead of, you know, this sign of like manipulative. If you really love me, like, you know, they probably do love you, but they don't want to be manipulated. Okay, so let's just go from there and stop that. That might be learned behavior. That's something else that's something that we would deal with in therapy. Learned behavior from family dynamics or what you saw. That might be something that you have picked up on in your lifetime that we have to unlearn. Okay, it's a big one. Okay, y'all, so I have to admit, I have said this many times in my in my marriage, and when I learned how bad it was to say it, I had to say, okay, I really need to unlearn saying this. But the next one is, I told you so. I told you so. And it just comes across extremely condescending and unsupportive. It makes you, you know, your partner go over there, you know, kind of distance you from there because they made the mistake. It might make them feel bad, may have guilt or shame that they're dealing with about the situation or whatever it is that you told them so about. You know, it just doesn't make a person feel good. And you want your partner to feel good and supported no matter what the circumstances is. So instead of saying, I told you so, and this is something that I had to learn, let's figure this out. Let's figure out how we can solve this problem together. Like, okay, we're here, can't change the past. Let's figure out where do we go from here? How can we figure this out together? Now you are positioning yourself as a partner in the solution and not just a person pointing out the issue or the problem. And that person has probably already filled with overwhelming feelings of guilt and shame about the situation. So instead of I told you so, let's, you know, you might need to take a break and take a minute to realize the situation is how it's affecting you. And then once you calm down and you emotionally regulate, come back to the table. Okay, how can we figure this out? I'm not saying this is easy, y'all. Definitely dealing with how big it is. But that's a little bit better of a response if you want to stay emotionally collected and have a healthy relationship. Okay? Go a little bit deeper into these particular topics of communication, because I'm telling you, when it comes to marriage in particular and family in general, communication is always something that you're going to be working on. You're going to be married 40 years and still working on your communication because you're evolving and growing and you're dealing with imperfect people and imperfect situations. So this is something that's ever evolving. So we go much deeper into this. I take you through the 7 principles of the Gottman's method. We talk about how to reconnect, how to establish emotional intimacy. If you find that your communication is just very toxic and you need a lot of help, go to Relationality Co. Sign up for a session with myself or, you know, my husband and I together, and let us help you. Don't just be out here struggling, y'all. Like, a lot of people are out here just struggling, and we really want to help. We really want to help you get to a healthy place. And by the way, healthy doesn't mean perfect, but it does mean that you have to be intentional and willing to put in the work. All right, so that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You could turn on your notification buttons, comment below what you thought, or if there's anything else that you have heard that's really detrimental to your relationship and you want my perspective on it. I'll be happy to share that as well. But the mutual respect is very, very important in marriage and in any relationship. That's engaged couples, I'm talking to you too. Dating couples, I'm talking to you too. If you want to head towards a relationship and a healthy relationship, make sure that you engage in healthy behavior and healthy communication. All right, you guys, my name is Bridget Reed. I'll see you guys later. Talk soon.